4, and the direction I have from the chair is to next go to Assembly Bill 224. I see we have Assemblymember Mosca here. Thank you for joining us today, Assemblymember Mosca. Thank you for being here to present.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Orenshaw. Good to see you again, and great to be back here in Senate Government Affairs. My name is Erica Mosca, representing Assembly District 14, East Las Vegas. I know everyone wants to be quick today, so we try our best to be quick. Couple things. Why this bill? I'm very proud to represent East Las Vegas. I have been to every county in our state, and going to a place like Ely does actually remind me of East Las Vegas. This bill is a state-level solution to the issue of rural school construction. This body has funded appropriations in the past. This is a high-level state solution that would fund future schools going forward. Why White Pine is here today is because the schools in Ely were built in 1909 and 1913. I have been there multiple times, and I want to put on the record that nobody asked me to carry this bill. This was me visiting the schools and understanding what students and parents face in a community, and I wanted to bring it. And so we did have a hearing in Ways and Means, and in Ways and Means, it was confirmed that the general obligation debt affordability report would be updated for the bonding. So there is bonding available for this bill should it pass. So with that, I will briefly give it over to the superintendent to talk about the condition of the schools, and the CFO to talk about how White Pine has actually put skin in the game and done everything they can to raise their own taxes, but it's not enough with the base.
Thanks. Adam Young, Superintendent, White Pine School District. Thank you for having us today. We'll be very, very brief. As Assemblymember Mosca said, 1909 and 1913 schools have issues. Despite the best work of our maintenance and custodial staff, which is significant, accessibility, ADA, fire suppression, asbestos, all of these things they're just problems. The biggest problem is that when we get in to fix those things, you have to bring everything else up to code. And that becomes unaffordable for us with a small tax base when we're at the tax cap. So CFO Johnson will speak about this for just a moment, but we have tried many, many, many creative solutions. We appreciate everyone's support in those solutions. None of them have gotten the job done to this point in time. And so we appreciate Assemblymember Mosca as well as all of the Assembly who have been very supportive of this measure so far.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Paul Johnson, I'm the CFO for the White Pine County School District. To give a little bit of history, tax history, voters actually approved school construction back in 1993, but they didn't have the fiscal means to complete that project. And nothing really has changed from that point. It's actually a mathematical impossibility for the amount of revenue that we can raise to issue sufficient bonds to really even make a dent in school construction. When I first started doing this, it was a $7.5 million project. It's ballooned to a $100 million project today. The amount of money that we can raise through our voter-approved property tax rate of 25 cents would secure about a $10 million bond issue. On the sales tax, we have the third highest sales tax in the state of Nevada. We are at the combined rate property tax cap. The sales tax at its max would raise about $300,000 a year and float a $5 million project. So combined, possibly a total of $15 million, and it would exhaust all of our capital revenue for one project, and is roughly 1/10 of that cost. So we're here today asking for help because it's simply based on the tax policy and the way revenue works. A school financed through local means would never happen in our community.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Members, any questions for Assemblymember Mosca or co-presenters on Assembly Bill 224? Senator Neal.
Vice Chair, what's your tax cap?
Paul Johnson, CFO for White Pine County School District. We're at the combined tax rate cap of over $3.64, including the state 17 cents rate.
How much have you raised? So when we had this bill last session, how much did you raise?
We can, based on our projections and projections from J&A Consulting, we could finance $10 million worth of bonds.
But, okay, this is 2023, right? You had a bill. How much did you say you were trying to raise at the time?
Oh, Paul Johnson, for the record, at that time, the school construction estimate was $60 million. Is that?
Now, this bill is asking for $100 million in GO bonds.
Correct. Paul Johnson, for the record, yes.
And Eric Monster, for the record, it was put on the record in Ways and Means as well. The $100 million wouldn't only be for White Pine. They will put in what they can at the tax rate. It's just that the $100 million is what the bill will say that through the general obligation debt affordability report, that's what will be available.
Okay. So, and you want this to go to the Board of Finance, and so I guess what's triggering for me is that it's not that this isn't a worthy cause, it's that in the original bill was the 60 million GO.
Erica Mossy, for the record, the bill last session was not my bill. That was a straight appropriation, knowing that, in my opinion of this being in this body, straight appropriations for schools did not seem like it was something that was tenable or a state solution. So I worked in the interim for the last year and a half with many stakeholders to figure out if it was not a state appropriation, what could the state do if we were to say the state does have some obligation to support school construction for those who mathematically cannot do it themselves.
Thank you. Follow up? Just help me, because I'm trying to recollect this hearing. So it was, how much was the appropriation in 23? The direct appropriation?
Erica Monster, for the record, I believe the direct appropriation was $60 million, and why they're saying the cost is more, I think, is all just inflation and construction costs, but you can.
Yeah, okay. So now that I know it was a direct appropriation of 60 million, because we had this conversation about the tax cap, willingness of residents to raise the tax cap, population, et cetera. How much have you gotten done with the 60 million?
Eric Monster, for the record, that bill did not pass. That was for the Oahe School, and so this is for White Pine. Well, actually, I want to be very clear. This bill actually encapsulates 8 counties, all the ones that would qualify for the fund to assist school districts in financial capital improvements. That's a fund. There are certain school districts that qualify under that fund. White Pine would just be the one that qualifies at the top of the list, if that makes sense.
I guess that's what I'm trying to sort out right now. So there was, even though the bill died, there wasn't an allocation placed in the budget regardless. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Erica Moss, for the record, correct. They did not get any type of allocation from the state last session.
But you did put the, you tried to put something on the ballot or on the commission or.
I can address that. Thank you, Senator Neal. Adam Young, for the record. We are at the tax cap already. Our voters have previously approved funds that we use to make some of the repairs on these 1909 and 1913 schools, which was kind of enough to keep the doors open. But our local voters have allowed us to go to the max of what is available now. It's just that's not going to get the job done with anything new.
And so, Erica Monster, for the record, that's Elko County that had done that in the last 2 years, not White Pine County.
Okay, yeah. So, just final question.
Go ahead.
You need $100 million in GO. I'm assuming governor's on board, right? Since you're going to BOE.
Erica Monster, for the record, what we have on board is that it will be included in the general obligation debt affordability report. So not sure if that means the governor's on board or not, but that is what was presented in Ways and Means.
But the plea that you guys need help for an old school that's over 100 years has been heard.
Paul Johnson for the record. Yeah. Paul Johnson for the record. Yeah, I've personally been working at this for 28 years. Testified before the legislature 6 different times. The situation just gets further and further. The amount of money that we have to raise gets further and further from our ability to afford it. We have tried all creative means in order to make this happen. Lease purchase agreements, public-private partnerships, tax policy changes, requests for appropriations. This one seems to be the path of least resistance because it goes through the debt bonding, state bonding arena and through capital. It will be repaid in part through the property taxes that we pay through the 17 cents that all jurisdictions do. So, you know, we have kind of based what we've done on the recommendations of the people that serve on this body and, you know, folks that are experts. So this proposal was in part modeled after a bill that was presented years ago that wasn't passed. So we've tried many attempts, and this is just one of those attempts.
Thank you for that. I was just trying to get on the record that you have tried the increased cost. I mean, because I know you tried to move something in 23, and now because of the increased cost, this is now $100 million. But you had not, because of your own fault, you've worked it out, right, locally, and now you're here and you're being supported by that act. Okay, that's all I want to know. I mean, you know, I'm always looking forward to load up the record, especially when there are other similar circumstances and people are, you know, arguing against funding, and then we then have this presented in front of us. So thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you, Senator Neal. And I believe Senator Daly also had some questions. I see Senator Ellison's hand. So I'll go to Senator Daly, then Senator Ellison. Members, if you have any other questions, please let us know.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Real quick, and I think you alluded to some of it. So there are several counties that are 15,000 or under. I know you said a number. Do you know which ones they are, of which White Pine is just one?
Yes, Erica Mosco for the record. I believe it's 7. I could be incorrect. I've said it before. Is it 7?
7 sounds about right, Adam Young. Lincoln County, Lander County.
Pardon me, I'm so sorry. I believe our legislative council has a little bit of, sorry to interrupt you,
thank
little
you.
information on that. Ms. Clarkson.
Thank you. This is Heidi Clarkson with the Legal Division. I can quickly get you the list. Under 15,000 right now are White Pine, Pershing, Lander, Mineral, Lincoln, Story, Eureka, and Esmeralda.
Thank you, Ms. Clarkson. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Please go ahead, sir.
So, and thank you, Mr. Chair. And yeah, I was just trying to let everyone know it's not just White Pine. There are other school districts that can actually apply for the available bonding, not that it'll be done. They got to go through that regular process. So the only other question is not really to do with the bill and the old schools and all this stuff. And I'm fully aware of the stuff you code, earthquake compliance, 100-plus-year-old buildings, not too many of those considerations at the time, and then all of the other things. So with the existing buildings, just going to be torn down, or are you going to hopefully just build new, maybe repurpose the other ones, which also comes with some of those costs, but you just hate to see 100-and-some-plus-year-old buildings be down like Ely. So.
Thank you, Senator Adam Young. I am a graduate of White Pine, so is Mr. Johnson. We have some others in the room who are as well. And as you say, those facilities bring back lots of nostalgia for generations worth of residents. So we really believe in White Pine of growing community and in approaching everything through the collaborative aspect. So anything that we do with those facilities will be a joint community decision that will occur through that process. So we haven't wanted to get the cart too far in front of the horse to say this or that or whatever is going to happen because, as Mr. Johnson alluded, we've been here before and it hasn't worked out. And so we just want to follow the process. And if this process is successful, then we will consult with our community to make sure that those facilities are used in the most appropriate ways.
Understood. And so I'm assuming you have some other land available to build a new school if you're able to do this. I I just, in your community, we'll figure out if the building gets torn down or what happens on that, and then how some of that retrofit has to be done. Because even if you repurpose it, maybe it'll be a little bit less, or maybe there's some other development or somebody that can assist there. I just curious. I hate this just torn down and move on. That's probably not best, but.
Thank you very much, Senator Daly. Senator Ellison.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you guys for being here. I've been trying to follow you all along where you're at on this, and I thought that one of my colleagues picked up the bill, and I'm trying to track it. We had a bunch of us from legislators from all over the state showed up and walked through that school to show people how bad it is. Now, the 3-story school has got 0 ADA handicap access to this whole building. So if you had a child that was junior high or whatever, and they had to get up to one of the floors, the only way up there is carrying them. That's it. I mean, the school is in such bad need of repair, and the maintenance people have done everything they can to maintain this thing, and it's amazing. But if there's ever a school in the state of Nevada that needs to be addressed, it's this. I mean, you go on the basketball court, and the basketball court is bouncing when they get in the middle of it. I mean, the building needs to be, turn into a historical museum or something. And I hope you guys weren't there when they built it, but it's it is something that has to be done one way or another. If they did come in and condemn this building, let me tell you, what are you going to do? Drive them to Elko or to Las Vegas? I think you're in between a rock and a hard spot. But if there's ever a building that we need to address, this is it. I mean, I can't say enough about some of the repairs in the bathrooms, and the maintenance people, they should have a gold star on them, because I tell you what, they've done everything they could with the money they have. And I take my hats off to you guys. I tell you, you've done a good job trying to keep it up and trying to get our children educated and graduate through there. But I tell you, look at the old courthouse. We finally got that funded, several years ago, and got that moved. And the criminals and the sheriffs and people that was going to be on the trial had to take the same elevator. I mean, it was so bad. But I tell you what, this school has got to be addressed one way or another before it becomes a tragedy to the state, and that's what I don't want to see it. And I don't know if you want to add to that or whatever, but I tell you, how many of us do you think went to the school?
Senator Adam Young, and thanks for the question. We did, all of you would have gotten an invitation from me, and many of you replied that you wouldn't be able to be there, and I deeply appreciate that response. But we did have a number of assembly members and senators of both parties, and we've had a number of state officials come and tour the facility as well. I appreciate Senator Ellison acknowledging the hard work of our maintenance staff. They really do a good job, but there's just a limit of what could be done.
That's right. And everything has got to be surface mount at this point in time because of the walls and the existing old bricks and the windows are frames and the ceilings. And I mean, what they're going through right now is something that I think is an emergency myself. But thank you so much, and thank you for everything you've done. And I'm finally glad to see you get in here, but you've done a great job, and the people that's actually seen the school would totally understand. Thank you so much.
Members, members, any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you again for the presentation. I apologize that I was presenting a bill myself and I couldn't be here for the whole breadth of it, but thank you. I'd like to invite you to sit back. And at this point, we'll invite those wishing to testify in support of Assembly Bill 224. If you could please come forward. Carson City or Las Vegas. Seeing no one in Las Vegas, we'll start here in Carson City. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair Flores and members of the committee. My name is Tom Clark. I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Association of School Boards. When we set out this legislative session, there were three priorities that the school boards across the state had. One of them, rural school funding. And then we walk into a legislative session that doesn't have a lot of funding. And so how were we going to solve this problem? And I really applaud the folks in White Pine County and the sponsor of this bill for bringing forward this particular solution to what is a menacing, dangerous, illegal problem in a facility that does not even come close to the standard that we expect for our kids to be able to learn. We very much support this piece of legislation. We think that not only will it benefit White Pine, but it will hopefully down the road be an option for some of our other rural schools as well. For those reasons, Mr. Chairman, we're in support.
And thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Mary Przensky, here representing Nevada Association of School Superintendents, and it's hard for me to add anything beyond what you've said, Senator. This is a crisis, and I hope you will pass this bill because we have so many issues, especially in our rural counties, where we need work on our facilities, and there just isn't a possibility of doing that at this point. So we appreciate your consideration of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Kyle Davis today on behalf of Ampere Energy. Ampere is a global renewable energy development company developing primary solar and wind projects throughout the West, including here in Nevada. Our projects are primarily in Nevada, in rural Nevada, including one project we do have in White Pine County. It's very important for us to be a partner in the communities in which we operate. As you've heard in the testimony, this is a critical need, and there are not a lot of options available to our rural counties for these types of issues. AB224 gives us those options and provides options for our rural school children. So we are in support and happy to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I am Sarah Adler with Silver State Government Relations, and we are proud to represent the Duck Valley Shoshone-Paiute tribe. So 2 years ago, this body stepped forward heroically to support the students in Hawaii with Oahe so that they may have a safe school. And there are many other needs in our tribal and rural communities that this bill can seek to address. On a personal note, I think there is a problem. However, it is if this bill moves forward, Paul Johnson and Adam Young, who are heroes of education in our state, might think that they would be allowed to retire, and that would be a problem. But besides that, it's a great bill. We urge your support.
Thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jimmy Lau with Ferrari Reader Public Affairs, representing the Nevada Contractors Association. Here in support, echo the comments that have been made before me. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no one else coming forward in Carson City or Las Vegas, we'll go to the phone line. Support testimony for Assembly Bill 224.
If you would like to testify in support of AB 224, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, you have no callers in support at this time.
Thank you. We'll go to opposition to Assembly Bill 224, and we'll start with the phone lines.
If you would like to testify in opposition of AB 224, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, you have no callers in opposition at this time.
Thank you. And anybody wishing to testify in opposition either in Carson City or Las Vegas? Seeing none, we'll go to those wishing to testify in the neutral position to Assembly Bill 224, Carson City or Las Vegas. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll go to the phone lines for neutral testimony.
If you would like to testify neutral on AB 224, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. Chair, you have no callers neutral at this time.
Thank you. And with that, any closing remarks?
Erica Moss for the record. Ooh, I will be very brief. I want to thank the chair and vice chair for hearing the bill, Senator Neal for building a record. This is very helpful. Thank you, Senator Daly, for bringing up it's more than just one school district, and Senator Ellison for your descriptive nature, and thank everyone who has been working on this. I think it shows that, and this is why I appreciate that we as a body support all Nevadans, no matter the political party of their county, and I appreciate you all for that support. Thank you.
Thank you again. With that, we'll go ahead and close out the hearing on Assembly Bill 224.